Hey, what's up everyone? It's Mitsuo. I love sushi robot. So today I'm here at Sango Kura with owner Jay. Hey Jay.
How are you?
Thank you very much for today.
Thanks for coming.
Yep, so basically Sango Kura is the first and only sake brewery
In Pennsylvania.
in Pennsylvania.
That's right. You got it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And here is Delaware River,
The town of Delaware Water Gap.
Delaware Water Gap, yes. So basically, we're gonna have a Philly Tunakatin show with Kevin Yanaga April 12th. And then Sango Kura is one of our sponsor. So Jay will be our event too,
Yep.
to promote the sake as well.
Well, with sushi, definitely you'll want to have a little taste of sake. And so I'm owner Toji here at Sango Kura. So what I make is a very premium, floral, crisp, delicious Junmai Ginjo sake. Traditional techniques, but modern brewing equipment. And some innovations here, but overall, it's just a delicious, drinkable sake.
Thank you very much. So today we're gonna see our sake, how they do make a sushi sake, outside, inside, whatever. So there's a little bit tour, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, we'll take a tour of my brewery. We have our head brewer Jonah in there, getting ready for some steaming of rice, and yeah, we'll go through and check it all out.
All right, let's do this. Yay, exciting.
Hey, welcome to Sango Kura. You're now inside the Sake Brewery. Today we are about to steam some rice for our second edition. We're making some Junmai Ginjo. This is our head brewer, Jonah Arteri. So in here, this is where once we get the rice, our rice comes and we wash it, soak it, steam it. And then at that point, we go and put it into the tank with obviously some yeast, some water, and koji. And unless we're making koji, then it would go into our koji muro, which we'll get into in a little bit. All of our sake is made with American-grown rice from let's see, where the hell is that? It's not San Diego, it's not San Francisco. Sacramento. Yeah. All of our rice is made with American-grown rice from Sacramento, California, and Arkansas. These are all sake brewing-specific strains of rice that are from Japan, but they are grown in American paddies here. That rice is then milled with a sake rice mill, which is very gentle on the kernel. We mill down to about 60%, which classifies us as a Junmai Ginjo sake. From here, once we have our steamed rice ready, then we'll take it into our next room. And you can climb up there and see in there.
There we go.
We're mixing it up, getting our temperatures right. That's already got lots of yeast in it. And it's ready for the second edition of steamed rice. We can do 4,000 liters of Moromi at a time, which is pretty good for a little brewery. Once our fermentation is done, with about 35 days, slow and low cold fermentation, we take that Moromi from one of these tanks, and we will pump it over here to our sake press. This does not only press, but it also filters the sake. So we suck the whole batch up, and with hydraulics and air pressure, we squeeze the Moromi, and we separate the sake from the kasu mash. At that point, it goes into a conical here, where it's conditioned for flavor and also waits for pasteurization. We use a heat pasteurization, which is pretty typical for sake, and it's also very nice because we don't need to load it up with any sulfites or anything that could give you blotchy skin or headaches. And then from there, it goes back into the conical where it's ready to be canned, bottled, or kegged. Let's see. All right, so welcome to our Koji Muro. A Koji Muro is the heart of a sake brewery. This is where we inoculate koji-kin, which is koji spore, fungus, onto the steamed rice, and we make the ingredient of koji. Now what happens here with the koji kin, as we shake it on with this little guy here. All of the fungus is in here and we can shake it on. Maybe we could see a little bit. You see the line?
Yeah, a little bit, yes. Yeah,
so that's millions of spores right there. And so once we have the steamed rice laid out on this table, if you can imagine, we shake that on and it settles down. And then the spores find the food, and then with their mycelium, they go way down into the kernel and start breaking up those proteins and all the sugars. And then out the other side through enzymes creates usable glucose sugar. And that's what the yeast feeds off of in fermentation. Now this is unique to sake brewing, and it's kind of similar to the malting process of beer. However, grain germination is just the germination. Once you let that little guy go a little bit, that's what's gonna turn those starches into sugar for beer. However, we use fungus, which is unique to sake brewing. Let's see. So all throughout the koji making process, we sleep here at the brewery. It takes about 3 days to make a batch. We do 100 kilos at a time, and we monitor it with temperature probes that are hooked up to our phones through an app. Now, at different times and different temperature plateaus, those dictate our final recipe and flavor of the koji, because at those different times and temperatures, different enzymes are activated in the koji to produce amino acids, all through protease and amylase enzymes. So once that's done, we crash the room temperature, we get it down, and then we bag it up, and then we freeze it, and then it's ready for making a batch of sake. So this is the ingredient of koji. So after those 3 days and those time and temperature plateaus, and we have all the sugar that we need, this is what it looks like. And this is a frozen product, and actually you can try it some, and
just eat like this?
Yep, you can taste the sugar in there. And
it's very sweet.
Yep. So koji is not only responsible for making sake and sochu, but it's also responsible for making miso and soy sauce as well. So a little known fact, koji is a national sport of Japan, which is super cool and nerdy, I think, because America doesn't have one. But yeah, without koji, we wouldn't have all those products and fermented foods and all that gut health enzymes that it produces. So it's really a special ingredient, and although it's a lot of work to make, the payoff is just awesome sake and whatever else you're producing. It was definitely worth it. Hey, you gotta give Paddington. Good boy. Good boy. So at Sango Kura, not only do we have this full sake brewery, but we also have a beer brewery as well. Here, right now, we're doing some pretty traditional styles of beer. However, what we're working on is the koji that I just showed you guys. We're actually throwing that in the mash tun with some other steamed rice, sake rice, and we're making koji rice lager. So this makes a very light, delicious summer beer, a little bit lower in ABV, but definitely like something that is nice and light and delicious.
All right, kanpai!
Kanpai! Nice and light.
Nice, very fresh.
So obviously we're gonna add a little carbonation to this after it's done lagering, but you can get a nice light beer.
Nice. Very tasty.
Thanks. Okay, so after we're done with all our processes, that's where the fun part comes in, and we get our labeling and marketing down. So we have several different types of sakes and always have more sakes in the works. We have everything from a straight traditional Junmai Ginjo sake to a dry hopped sake. We dry hop this with Galaxy and Mosaic hops. We have a traditional nigori. Make sure you shake. We have a bourbon barrel aged sake, a plum sake. And then for the people who aren't sure about sake, we have a sake with apple cider blend. And that brings the ABV down to about 7%. But that just makes for like a nice, delicious appley sake that's easy to drink. And then that's how we get sake fans. They drink that, they like it, and then they can't say they don't like craft sake anymore. Well, we're also finishing up working out our final recipe for our hibiscus sake. We're using hibiscus leaves to steep into the Junmai Ginjo, which just gives it like a nice, well, if you know hibiscus, a hibiscus flavor. And we're excited for this one to get actually to market, which won't be long now. And then of course we bottle these products as well. We do a lot at our tasting room, what we call sake tails, where we'll make cocktails from our sake, which is a lot of fun, and we always look forward to making new things out of them, new cocktails out of our sake. So then this is our tasting room. Here, you're at the bar. I'm a firm believer that drinking should be fun. And so, which is why we have lots of different games and pinball machines here. We do all types of events. So we want people to come and feel welcomed and have a lot of fun and have a really great experience with their sake.
Well, here's a hibiscus sake. Let's try. Kanpai.
Kanpai. Delicious.
The flavor of the hibiscus.
Yes.
Delicious.
It works really well with the floralness of the Junmai Ginjo.
Very smooth too. All right, everyone. Now we are going to do a sushi robot demo at Sango Kura with Jay.
All right.
All right, there we go. All right, Jay, can you put the seaweed on top of it?
Sure can.
Yep. Perfect. All right, can you put the cucumber, please?
Sure thing. How's that?
Maybe a little more.
A little more. Here we go.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
You ready?
Ready.
Whoa!
Sugoi!
Sugoi!
Put it in here.
Yep. Okay.
It's a little tight.
Yep. Okay. And then hit the two buttons at the same time for 2 seconds.
Okay.
There we go.
Wow. Beautiful. So pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was just so easy and fast.
All right, now let's eat the special cucumber made by Sushi Robot with Jay.
Awesome.
いただきます。
いただきます。
How do you like it?
おいしい。
おいしい。
Very good.
Yeah.
Games and sake.
Can you explain a little more?
Yeah, sure. Again, like I said, I think if you're drinking and experiencing a brewery, it should be a good, fun time. And you know, what's not more fun than games? And also, Nintendo and Sega are from Japan, so I think that goes pretty well.
Oh, you guys have? Can we play Nintendo and Sega here?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Absolutely.
So cool.
Wait a second. Yeah, get that.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, Zelda.
Here, let's just.
Oh, Super Mario Brothers.
Well, of course, classic. That's where it all started, right? Okay, ready?
Wow.
Yay! Oh, I don't have a sword.
Oh.
I don't have a sword yet.
Oh, I love this music.
Brings you back, right?
Yeah.
So my philosophy of an izakaya has been, you know, someone who's been to lots of different izakayas in Japan, is that an izakaya is an extension of self-expression and something offered to the community through food and drink and a place to gather and celebrate. And so these social harmonies are put together by the owner and what he likes in his life. And sometimes you go to izakayas and it will be, you know, skiing themed or Rolling Stone themed or whatever it is. But at the same time, you can get good food and good sake and feel very comfortable. So here at Sango Kura, when people walk through the door, we like to say we want people to be comfortably confused because that's just the nature of what I brought here, and these are all cool, weird things from my life, and I want to share with everyone else. Okay, so a lot of people ask me why we have handcrafted sake and noodles in Delaware, Water Gap, such a small town, and that's because of apple pie, actually. I grew up here in my parents' bakery. This is called the Village Farmer and Bakery. We're on year 50. And that working through high school, that funded my first trip to Japan and got me to actually opening a brewery next door. So if you ever come, you gotta make sure to stop in and get some apple pie and some chicken pot pie and take a hike up on the mountain in the national park. And
Hey, Paddington.
when we got him, he was just a tiny little fluff ball.
Hi, boy. Paddington.